How to rekindle intimacy in a long-term marriage after emotional disconnect. Imagine the quiet hum of your home in the evening. You and your spouse are side by side on the couch, but it feels like you're worlds apart. The TV flickers, your phones glow, and the silence between you speaks louder than any argument ever could. You're not at odds, but you're not truly together either. The spark that once defined your marriage, the late-night talks, the shared dreams, the effortless laughter, feels like a relic from another life, buried under years of routines, responsibilities, and unspoken tensions. If this scene hits close to home, take heart, you're not alone. Emotional disconnect is a silent challenge that creeps into countless long-term marriages, dimming the intimacy that once felt unbreakable. But here's the promise: you can reignite that flame, rebuild your connection, and rediscover the love that brought you together. This 30-minute deep dive, crafted with vivid stories, expert insights, and practical strategies, will guide you through the journey of rekindling intimacy. Through the lens of real couples who've been there and actionable steps you can start today, we'll explore how to turn distance into closeness and apathy into love. Let's begin. The silent drift, understanding emotional disconnect. Emotional disconnect doesn't burst into your marriage like a storm. It's a slow, almost imperceptible drift, a missed moment here, a skipped conversation there, until one day you wake up and realize you're strangers sharing a life. Sarah and James, married for 18 years, know this feeling all too well. "We were so caught up in parenting and work that we forgot how to be a couple," Sarah says, her voice tinged with a mix of regret and hope. "We'd talk about the kids' schedules or what needed fixing around the house, but never about us. I missed him, even though he was right there every day." Dar. Emily Carter, a marriage therapist with over 25 years of experience, explains why this happens. In long-term marriages, couples often shift into maintenance mode, where practical tasks, bills, chores, parenting, take precedence over emotional connection. Life's demands, from career stress to digital distractions, create a wedge. Intimacy, which thrives on vulnerability and presence, gets sidelined. The result is a relationship that functions but lacks depth, like a house with sturdy walls but no warmth inside. Why it's so common, Dr. Carter points to research, like studies from the Gottman Institute, which show that emotional disconnect often emerges during life's transitions, empty nesting, midlife career shifts, or even the grind of raising young children. Couples assume their bond will sustain itself, but intimacy is like a garden. Without regular care, it withers. The good news? That same garden can bloom again with intention and effort. The emotional toll, the impact of disconnect goes beyond the relationship. When intimacy fades, individuals often feel lonely, unvalued, or even invisible, Dr. Carter says. This can lead to resentment, self-doubt, or even temptation to seek connection elsewhere. But recognizing the disconnect is a powerful first step, not as a point of blame, but as a shared opportunity to rebuild. Real stories, real hope, for couples who rekindled their spark. To make this journey feel tangible and inspiring, let's meet 4 couples who faced emotional disconnect and found their way back to intimacy. Their stories, rich with challenges and triumphs, offer unique lessons, paired with practical tips you can apply in your own marriage. Each couple's path shows that rekindling intimacy is not a one-size-fits-all process but a deeply personal, rewarding journey. Story 1, Maria and Carlos, rediscovering joy through shared moments. Maria and Carlos, married for 23 years, felt their connection fray when their youngest child left for college. "The empty nest hit us hard," Maria shares, her voice soft but steady. "The house was too quiet, and it made me realize how much we drifted. We were together, but we weren't connected. I didn't know how to reach him anymore." Their turning point came during a spontaneous evening out, when Maria suggested a no-phones date night. "It was a whim," she laughs, "but it changed everything. That first date night was awkward. We sat at this little cafe, staring at each other, struggling to find words," Carlos recalls, a grin spreading across his face. "It felt like a first date, but scarier. But they persisted, making it a weekly ritual. Over time, the conversations deepened. They asked questions they hadn't in years. What's a dream you've never shared? What's something you're afraid of right now? Those talks peeled back the layers we'd built up, Maria says. I started seeing Carlos not just as my husband, but as this incredible person I wanted to know again. Their date nights led to another breakthrough, a shared hobby. Maria suggested salsa dancing, Carlos says, shaking his head. I thought, me? Dance? No way. But we tried it, and we were terrible. Their laughter over fumbled steps became a bridge back to joy. Those classes reminded us how to have fun together, Maria adds. We'd laugh until we cried, and that lightness brought us closer. Tip number 1, schedule intentional date nights. Why it works: date nights create a sacred space for connection, free from the noise of daily life. They signal to your partner that they're a priority, fostering emotional closeness. How to do it: commit to one night a week, even if it's just an hour. Turn off phones, skip work or kid talk, and focus on each other. Try a new restaurant, cook a meal together, or take a sunset walk. Use conversation starters like, what's a moment from our past that still makes you smile, or, what's something you'd love us to do together, to spark deeper dialogue. Pro hack: alternate planning dates to share the effort. Surprise each other with thoughtful touches, like revisiting a place from your early days or trying a new activity, like stargazing with a blanket and hot cocoa. Real-world example: Maria and Carlos took turns planning, with Carlos once choosing a drive-in movie. It felt like we were 20 again, Maria says. We talked for hours after, just holding hands. Tip number 2, explore a shared hobby. Why it works: shared activities build teamwork, create fresh memories, and inject playfulness into the relationship, countering the monotony that fuels disconnect. How to do it: brainstorm activities you both might enjoy, painting, hiking, board games, or even a virtual cooking class. Start small to avoid pressure, and keep it light. If one idea doesn't click, try another. Pro hack: choose something new to both of you, like Maria and Carlos's salsa dancing. It fosters vulnerability and equality, as you're both beginners learning together. Real-world example: after salsa, they tried a pottery class, laughing over their lopsided creations. Those flops were the best part, Carlos says. They reminded us we're a team, even when we mess up. Story 2, Aisha and Malik, breaking the silence with courageous communication. Aisha and Malik, married for 15 years, faced a disconnect rooted in unspoken resentment. I felt like I was invisible, Aisha shares, her voice steady but heavy with memory. Malik would come home, bury himself in his phone, and I'd be left feeling like I was just his co-parent, not his partner. I was angry, but I didn't know how to say it. The tension simmered until one late-night argument cracked the dam. I just blurted it out, Aisha says. I told him, I miss feeling like you see me. I miss us. It was terrifying, but it was true. Malik was stunned. I thought we were fine, he admits. I was so caught up in work stress that I didn't see how much she was hurting. That raw moment led them to couples therapy, where they learned to communicate without defensiveness. Therapy gave us a safe space to be honest, Aisha says. We started doing daily check-ins, even for 5 minutes, to share how we're feeling. Those small talks rebuilt trust, and over time, their emotional intimacy grew stronger. Now, when I'm upset, I speak up, Aisha smiles. And he listens, really listens. Tip number 3, improve communication with vulnerability. Why it works: honest, non-judgmental communication creates a foundation for emotional intimacy. Sharing your inner world. Fears, hopes, hurts, builds trust and closeness. How to do it: set aside time for a heart-to-heart, even if it's brief. Use I feel statements, e.g., I feel lonely when we don't talk, instead of accusatory, you always phrases. Listen actively, reflecting back what you hear, e.g., it sounds like you're feeling overwhelmed. Be patient if it feels awkward at first. Pro hack: establish a daily or weekly check-in ritual. Ask simple questions like, what's been the best part of your day, or, what's something you're carrying right now, to open the door to deeper conversations. Real-world example: Aisha and Malik's nightly check-in started with highs and lows but grew into sharing dreams and fears. It's like we're dating again, getting to know each other's hearts, Aisha says. Dr. Carter underscores the power of this approach. Vulnerability is the glue of intimacy. Couples avoid tough talks because they fear conflict, but silence is far more damaging. Start small, be kind, and keep practicing. Story 3. Priya and Raj, small gestures, big impact. Priya and Raj, married for 20 years, faced disconnect during a grueling career transition. Raj was working 60-hour weeks, and I was holding down the fort at home, Priya recalls. We weren't fighting, but we were like ships passing in the night. I felt so alone. Their breakthrough came unexpectedly when Raj started leaving little notes for Priya, simple messages like, "You're my hero," or, "Can't wait to see you tonight." Those notes were like a lifeline, Priya says, her eyes brightening. They made me feel seen, even when we barely had time to talk. Inspired by Raj's effort, Priya reciprocated, initiating small acts like brewing his favorite coffee or suggesting evening walks. Those walks became our sanctuary, Raj says. We'd hold hands, talk about our day, or just be quiet together. It was enough. Their small gestures snowballed into deeper intimacy, reminding them of their early days. It's not about grand gestures, Priya says. It's about showing up, every day, in the little ways. Tip number 4, embrace small, consistent gestures. Why it works: small acts of love signal care and build trust over time, creating a ripple effect of emotional closeness. They're low effort but high impact. How to do it: incorporate daily micro-gestures, a morning hug, a text saying, "I'm thinking of you," or a specific compliment like, "I love how you always make me laugh." These small efforts add up to big emotional wins. Pro hack: start a shared gratitude journal where you each write one thing you appreciate about the other weekly. Revisiting these entries during tough times can rekindle warmth. Real-world example: Priya and Raja's journal became a treasure trove of love notes. Reading his words on a hard day reminds me why we're in this, Priya says. Story 4, Elena and David, rebuilding trust through shared vulnerability. Elena and David, married for 16 years, faced a deeper wound, a breach of trust that left them emotionally distant. We had a rough patch where I felt betrayed, Elena shares, choosing her words carefully. It wasn't infidelity, but it was enough to make me pull away. We were polite, but the closeness was gone. Their turning point came when David suggested they try a weekend retreat for couples. I was skeptical, Elena admits, but I went because I didn't want to give up. The retreat forced them to face their pain head-on. Through guided exercises, they shared their fears and regrets. I told her how much I hated myself for hurting her, David says, his voice breaking. And she told me she wanted to trust me again but didn't know how. Those raw exchanges, guided by a facilitator, opened a path to healing. Back home, they continued the work, using tools like weekly trust talks to rebuild their bond. It's a slow process, Elena says, but we're closer now than we've been in years. Tip number 5, rebuild trust through shared vulnerability. Why it works: trust is the bedrock of intimacy. Sharing vulnerabilities, past hurts, fears, hopes, creates a safe space for healing and reconnection. How to do it: set aside time for a trust talk, where you share one thing that's hard to say, e.g., "I'm scared we're drifting," or "I want to feel close again." Listen without judgment, and validate each other's feelings. Consider professional support, like therapy or a retreat, if the wounds are deep. Pro hack: use a safe word during tough talks to pause if emotions run high, ensuring conversations stay constructive. Real-world example: Elena and David used pause as their safe word, allowing them to step back and cool off when needed. It kept us from spiraling, David says. The science behind intimacy, why it matters. Dr. Carter grounds these stories in science, citing research from the Gottman Institute and others. Studies show that couples who prioritize emotional connection, through shared activities, open communication, and small gestures, report higher satisfaction and resilience. Intimacy isn't just about romance, it's about feeling safe, seen, and valued. She points to the brain's role. Novel experiences, like trying a new hobby, release dopamine, which fuels bonding. Vulnerable conversations activate oxytocin, the love hormone, strengthening trust. This explains why Maria and Carlos's salsa dancing or Priya and Raja's walks worked. They introduced novelty and connection, rewiring their emotional bond. The brain craves both, Dr. Carter says. When you combine new experiences with emotional openness, you're building a relationship that can weather any storm. The bigger picture, rekindling intimacy doesn't just transform your marriage, it ripples outward. Couples who reconnect often report better mental health, stronger parenting, and even improved work performance, Dr. Carter notes. When you feel secure in your relationship, you're freer to thrive in other areas. Overcoming setbacks, the power of persistence and patience. Rekindling intimacy is a journey, not a destination, and setbacks are part of the process. Sarah and James learned this the hard way. After a few weeks of successful date nights, life intervened, work deadlines, a sick child, and they slipped back into old habits. We felt like we'd failed, James says. But we realized it wasn't about perfection. It was about trying again. They recommitted, scheduling catch-up dates when life got chaotic. Today, their marriage is deeper than ever, with habits like morning coffee chats and weekly movie nights anchoring their bond. Tip number 6, stay patient and persistent. Why it works. Intimacy building is a marathon, not a sprint. Small, consistent efforts compound over time, even if progress feels slow or uneven. How to do it. Set realistic expectations. Change takes time. If you miss a date night or a check-in, don't give up, just reschedule. Celebrate small wins, like a meaningful talk or a shared laugh, to stay motivated. Pro hack. Create a connection calendar to track your efforts, mark date nights, check-ins, or gestures. Seeing progress visually can keep you on track. Real-world example. Sarah and James used a shared app to plan dates, turning it into a fun ritual. It felt like we were dating again, Sarah says. Dr. Carter adds, setbacks are normal. The difference between couples who succeed and those who don't is persistence. Keep showing up, even when it's hard. Navigating common challenges, practical solutions. Every marriage faces unique hurdles when rekindling intimacy. Here are 3 common challenges, with solutions drawn from our couples and Dr. Carter's expertise. Challenge, time constraints. The issue, busy schedules, work, kids, errands, leave little room for connection. Solution, prioritize micro-moments. A 5-minute check-in over coffee or a quick hug before bed can maintain closeness. Maria and Carlos found that even 10-minute walks counted. It's about quality, not quantity, Maria says. Pro tip, block out time in your calendar, treating date nights or check-ins like non-negotiable meetings. Challenge, fear of vulnerability. The issue, opening up feels risky, especially if past hurts linger. Solution, start small and safe. Share a low-stakes feeling, e.g., I'm stressed about work, before diving into deeper topics. Aisha and Malik used neutral questions like, what's on your mind, to ease into vulnerability. Therapy, as Elena and David found, can also provide a safe space. Pro tip, practice active listening, nod, summarize, validate, to make your partner feel heard. Challenge, differing needs. The issue, one partner may crave more connection than the other, leading to frustration. Solution, communicate openly about your needs without judgment. Priya and Raj negotiated their efforts. Raj needed quiet time, while Priya craved talks. They compromised with short walks that met both needs. It's about meeting halfway, Raj says. Pro tip: use a needs inventory. Each list 3 things you need to feel connected, then find overlaps. The ripple effect: how intimacy transforms everything. Rekindling intimacy isn't just about saving your marriage. It's about enriching your entire life. Maria says, when we reconnected, I felt more alive, like I was rediscovering myself, not just us. Malik echoes, seeing Aisha smile because I really listened. That's my fuel. Priya adds, our kids noticed we were happier. They'd tease us, saying, you guys are so mushy now, but it made our family stronger. Elena reflects, trusting David again gave me peace I hadn't felt in years. Dr. Carter sums it up, intimacy is a choice you make every day. Turning toward your partner, through a kind word, a shared laugh, a tough talk, builds a marriage that doesn't just survive but thrives. It's not always easy, but it's always worth it. Your action plan: start today. Ready to rekindle intimacy in your marriage? Here's a step-by-step plan to get started. Today, have a 5-minute check-in with your partner. Share one high or low from your day, and listen to theirs. Keep it light and judgment-free. This week, plan one intentional date night. Keep it simple: a coffee shop, a walk, or a cozy night in. Ask one deep question, like, what's something you'd love us to dream about together? This month, try a new shared activity. It could be a puzzle, a dance class, or a cooking challenge. Embrace the learning curve and laugh together. Ongoing, add one small gesture daily: a note, a hug, a kind word. Track it in a journal or app to stay committed. Long-term, schedule a monthly trust talk to share deeper feelings or dreams. Use a safe word if needed, and celebrate your progress. Share your story in the comments. What's one step you're taking to reconnect? What challenges are you facing? Let's build a community of couples cheering each other on. If this inspired you, hit the like button, subscribe, and share it with someone who needs a spark in their relationship. Because every marriage deserves a chance to shine again.